lads, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs and welcome to another Premier Division review show. I'm wearing a Derry top today because Aidan Jarvis from Derry City, big Derry City fan, actually sent it down to me. So big shout out to Aidan. Cheers for that. Told you to wear it. First game, we'll start off, Keane, with Derry, and I finished Derry City 1, Longford Town 1. An interesting game, this one. Obviously, Akintunde scored late on, probably deserved. Rob Mandy gave Longford the lead. I think Akintunde could have had a penalty actually slightly earlier in that half. Mandy took his goal well. I thought he led the line brilliantly actually for Longford, but I think a share of the spoils were fair enough in the end. What do you think?
Yeah, look, Derry, it'd be disappointed they didn't win the game.
Yeah.
Look, it's Longford Town at home, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful or anything like it, but you know, at the start of the season, you put yourself down to be getting 3 points there. Longford played superb though. Really good stuff, and you know, I'm just going to speak about Longford for a minute because they're well drilled. Nothing phases them as a team. Like Irvin again, like nothing phases that boy. He can go right to the top, and I mean that. He's such an excellent talent, and he's one that we need to mind in this league, you know, because like just the demands he puts on his team and the demands he puts on the players around him is really, like, it's impressive for such a young lad to wear the armband and stuff like that. It's really, really good. Like I've witnessed it firsthand in Richmond and stuff like that, and what he does and what he says and how he goes about his game. He's a massive, massive part to everything that Longford do. So, you know, you obviously you missed the likes of Zambrit and stuff like that. You know, he hasn't been around the side, and I think A has really stood up, and he's really shown that, look, I can do this. So we're good enough to play here. But he's making the other players around him believe that too. And it's really good. Manley was superb up front. Absolutely superb up front. Without the goal.
Yeah, forget the goal for a minute. He led the line brilliantly, didn't he? Held it up, brought players into play.
It was really good.
Channels.
He only really got 2 chances in the game and he stuck one away, you know, and that was excellent. Speaking on Derry, look, like I said, they'd be disappointed they didn't win the game. Like, you know, considering Rory is, like, what he's building here is something big and something good. Like, look at the points return that he's after getting out of his 4 games. Like, you know, 5 games, is it?
7 from 12, actually. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Yeah,
like, you know, 7 from 12. If you were to ask any Derry City fan that after losing, let's say, at the minute the volume went, if you were to say, would you get 7 out of the next 12? They put your hand off. It could have worked so differently for Rory at the start if, let's say, he drew with Sligo or drew a Bowes away and beat
even lost the first game or something, Keane. You just don't know, you know.
But no, like, beat Longford at home. If the points were reversed, I think people would be saying, you know, this is a very solid start. But it's the fact that they beat Bowes, beat Sligo, and then failed to win against Harps and Longford. It's, you know, it's that type of thing. But look, Rory is fantastic on what he does. He really is. I was actually speaking to him yesterday at the Pats game. Really, really top man. And, you know, I love it. I'm so passionate about this league. And I love seeing people that love the league involved. Like the service he's given to this league, not only Derry City, but the service he gave to this league is fantastic. And it's nice to see him in charge. And it's nice to see him there with Raf, who's under our League of Ireland man. And, you know, it's really pleasing for me because I don't like people that come in and kind of underestimate the league and stuff like that.
I've seen a bit of that recently as well, in my opinion.
So you know, you're looking at Rory, and you're not going to get, if Derry City want a Derry City manager, they don't come more than Rory Higgins. I think he's the perfect fit for the job.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you another thing, Keane, actually, while I have it in my head. Will Patchin's playing very well for Derry at the moment, so to be fair.
He's been really good. He was great again on Friday, and he was great on Monday. I know they lost the game on Monday, but he was really good. He was excellent. He was everywhere in the pitch. He always had that about him. We always heard about him coming sign of our Dundalk, and he had this. We never seen it. But You know, we're starting to see glimpses of it now, but it's only glimpses. There's only been 3 or 4 games that he's really played well. Like, if he wants to be held a so-called decent player, you know, you need to do it for 25 if you have 26 games. That's the way I look at it. Everyone's going to have a bad game. But, you know, you need to be consistently enough. You need to be good enough consistently over, I would say, 25 or 26 games. I think that's average of what your best players will be. So, you know, he is the main man for Derry. There's no doubt about it. Everything is going through himself. And, you know, I think he's
5 assists, I think I've seen yesterday somewhere, 5 assists, which in itself is a good stat to throw out.
You know, and it's a lot of assists before the assist as well. And, you know, he's getting on the ball, he's exciting teams, he's running at teams, he's, you know, he really is. And he's a real Derry City player. And, you know, this is what we've seen with Derry throughout the years. And, you know, it's great to see, but look, Rory is going to be fine. I've absolutely no doubt he's going to be a massive success here.
Absolutely, yeah. Dundalk 0, Sligo Rovers 1. This was a huge win for Dundalk and a bad defeat for for Sligo and a bad defeat for Dundalk. Dundalk had a chance to reel in Sligo Keane here, 3 points. They had a chance to go 3 points behind them, but I thought the first half, to be honest, they played some decent stuff. Dundalk had some opportunities. Sligo had the better opportunities, one from Kenny. Gibson took his goal very well. Question marks about Cherry, possibly. Second half, I don't know. I thought when Sligo went down to 10 men, I thought Dundalk were dreadful. I do not think they dealt with the 10 men at all. Taking off Chris Shields, might have lost a bit of control in midfield. You still need a pattern of play, don't you? Not just throwing forwards on here, there and everywhere. But I was very disappointed with Dundalk in the second half. Sligo thoroughly deserved their win. They worked hard. They were very compact. I think Dundalk had a couple of chances in injury time where McGinty saved. But great win for Sligo nonetheless anyway.
Massive win. Really massive. Big statement of intent again, because, you know, they had a poor result against Derry and stuff like that, and a poor result against Finn Harps just before that, and then conceding so late against Pats. You know, so they were under a lot of pressure coming into this game in terms of where their European chase, or whatever you want to call it, is. So, you know, they answered them questions. I thought Sligo played even better with 10 men in the game. It didn't affect the game at all. If anything, probably helped them a little bit. But, you know, I thought Gibson was excellent for them again. What an outlet! What an outlet he is for them. He gets the ball, he excites you, he drives at defenders, and he's like that kid in the playground with a ball, and it's excellent to see, you know, and it excites you as if you were a Sligo Rovers fan or a League of Ireland man, to see a player getting on the ball and dribbling at pace, and he's so quick, he's lightning quick. I think everyone knew that from the season of Pats last year. He's lightning quick. But, you know, Patsy just couldn't seem to put the ball in the net, really. But he was excellent, and he took his goal really well. I wouldn't be too critical of Cherry. It was bottom corner, and it was right in the corner. And
it's one of those games where he potentially could have saved it, but I wouldn't call it a keeper error. Do you get me? It's one of them ones.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. That'd be a bit harsh now on Cherry. You know, but, you know, I thought Dundalk let themselves down again. I just, like, second half, just take the game to them, you know. You're at home here. You need to set the tempo. You need to play. I thought it was a bit slow. I thought Muddy looked very off the pace in the centre. And
I actually thought Keeney should have been taken off ahead of Shields, to be honest with you. That was my opinion.
There wasn't a lot going for Dundalk, you know. It's like they ran out of ideas as such in the game. And look, obviously you're missing Paddy Houben, and you're missing
McMillan.
You're missing McMillan. So, you know, there's 25 goals in your season each, nearly. You know what I mean? If they could, they would
play, yeah.
Like, you'd get 25 goals each out of them. So no, that's a big loss for Dundalk now. We need to realise that, like, they don't have anyone else to play up front as an out and out striker, you know. But you have some really good players there, like Paddy McElhenney and stuff like that, but we need to see them now. Now's the time to step up. We know what Michael Duffy can do. We've seen glimpses of it in the last game and stuff like that. But now it's time for him to shine. He needs to take the game and needs to go at defenders and excite people. Like exactly what Jordan Gibson is doing at the minute. Like Gibson is probably on form as the best player in the league at the minute. What he's doing, and it's just stuff like this that Dundalk need to be putting in. Putting into place, because they're not doing it. They're letting themselves down. I keep backing them for Europe, and I keep backing them for going here and there. But as the weeks go on, you start to question yourself.
This was the first weekend where I started to doubt myself as well a little bit, because it was such an opportunity for them as well. I still wouldn't rule them out because of the quality they have, but there is a little thing at the back of my head saying, you might be wrong.
Yeah, no, I just don't think they have the balance right in the side at all. I don't think Zahibo was a centre midfielder. I haven't seen much of him now, but I would say he's more of a number 10. And stick even in Paddy McElhenney, or stick someone in centre and midfield. Dundalk are really lacking a centre midfielder, like a box-to-box Richie Towell or Stephen O'Donnell that we've seen in recent years.
And even they're taking Chris Shields off. I mean, I left them with no midfield, really. Like, you can't.
Yeah,
it's
Shields,
it's not a computer game, isn't it? No, huh?
No, Shields is your holding player, and he's the main man for Dundalk.
Yeah.
But you're really missing your Stephen O'Donnell, your Richie Towell, your box-to-box midfielder in there that's going to get on the ball and drive at players and make things happen. Look, Chris Shields does it from a deeper role and he breaks up play. But Dundalk, since Robbie Benson left, they haven't had a midfielder. They haven't had an out-and-out midfielder that is box-to-box. And
Keane, ironically, Will Patchin could be capable of doing that kind of job.
Yeah,
he's on loan to Derry.
For me, Will is more of an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
You need a Robbie Benson in there. You need a player like that that's going to go box to box, that's going to do the work both ends. And I think they haven't had that since Benson left. I don't think Sean Murray does it either. I think they need to have someone of a better quality in there to do that job. Even looking at Pats at the minute, for example, you have Robbie Benson, you have Chris Forrester, who both do that job really, really well. And you have Jamie Lennon, who does the Chris Shields role. So, Pats have the midfield right.
Balance.
And I think the balance goes a long way. And you're looking at Zahibo in there, you're looking at Murray, you're looking at Shields. It doesn't do anything for me now. It really doesn't. I think they need to sort this out. And, I think they need to sort it out fairly quickly.
A lot of those players have come in on big wages as well. Waterford FC 0, Drogheda United 7. And, what can you say, Keane? To be fair, look, I've got to give Waterford credit here. I watched the game last night, actually, and they're only youngsters. Like, they're only 19. They're under 19s coming in. It's so difficult. We talked in the first division show how Wexford have brought in a lot of under 19s. It's difficult. But not only that, I think one of the things that was lost on this from a Waterford perspective was the fact that these guys haven't played matches. So they're behind in match fitness as well, which makes it even harder. You're coming up against a well-drilled Drogheda side who are very professional, by the way, in their approach. He went full team. This would have been the team that would have lined out against Waterford's first team. No messing about. Very professional approach for Drogheda. Got 7 goals. Probably could have had more. It's a difficult one for Waterford, really. Let's be honest about it. But,
Yeah, look, every week we talk about Waterford. Something's happened. Last week, something happened more than others, and this, I seen the statement.
I thought it was a joke first. Genuinely, I thought it was a joke first.
Look, I don't know even know what to say about it, but look, if that's the rules, that's the rules, and if people's health want to come first, that's grand. But I understand that completely. But you're under 19, so it's 7-0, a bit of a thrashing. I know everyone's trying to stay positive, and I know from looking at the interview of the captain after the game and stuff like that, and the captain was delighted to play for Waterford, rightly so. At the same time, 7-0, and it was a real thrashing, and just shows you the level of 19s football to League of Ireland. So I think it's a wake up call for a lot. Now I know the gap is huge. I know the gap, how big it is, but I would absolutely love an under 21s league. So you have 14s, 15s, 17s, 19s, or 21s.
Yeah, nice 2-year gap, yeah.
And I think that would be excellent just to have that extra thing for them. because you hear people saying, this fella's banging goals in for the 19s, this fella's doing this fella's doing that. Get him into the first team. The gap is huge. So I'm not going to be, I think that showed a lot of people.
Proved to people that were unsure about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the standard of 19s football is the highest in the country at that level. So people need to realise that too. I'm not saying it's crap. I think the underage system, the underage leagues are amazing. And the standard of football is so high.
But when you throw them together, essentially, because they were thrown together as such, and you're coming up against a senior side, you're coming up against Deegans and Massies and players with experience like that as well, Markies, whatever, Dan O'Reilly's. It's very, very difficult. They probably were a bit nervous as well. They wouldn't have been as fit as them, let's be honest. Match sharpness, they would have been behind as well. So at least if they could be the same level of match sharpness, in which they weren't, that really deterred them as well. Like,
yeah, look, I think Waterford need to sort themselves out and quick. They are, look, yeah, I get it. They're probably out now for the next week as well. I don't know what way they're going to sort it.
Likely, I think, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, after that, then they need to sort themselves out. There's no excuses. Every week we're talking about some shit happening at Waterford. And look, I understand. I really do. I understand. Look, health comes first and stuff like that. I get that in this situation. But I'm talking about the stupid off the field stuff that's going on every week at this club. So something needs to be sorted and quickly.
Well, if it's not, they're only going one way, Keane. That's the point.
If these go down, it would be a financial disaster. And look, they put an awful lot of money in 2018. They put an awful lot of money into the club, and they got some serious players, Akinadi and Doofus and, you know, Bastian Hurley and all these type of players. And
Stanley Abora, players of that.
Yeah, some really good quality players, and they had a squad capable of winning the league title. And obviously, then they got told they weren't going to be in Europe, and that kind of threw the team apart, broke the whole team up. I wasn't complaining with that one now, but you know, you're looking at it's been downhill from there, and every week we seem to have something wrong from that stage. See, so it's worrying. And I thought last year Alan Reynolds had a great squad together.
He did.
Just before, now they still looked a bit thrown together, but he had a really good squad there just before the lockdown there, and they had a great result against Pats and stuff like that at the start of the season. But, you know, it feels like anytime they're doing something where they can fall apart in a second. And I think that's the problem. So they're going to need to sort it out, and they're going to need to sort it out quickly, because, like, the gap is going to start opening.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just thinking there as well, Bohemians beat Finn Harps 4-0, Keane, as well. And Ali Coote got 2 goals. And of course, Ali Coote was a brilliant player for Waterford last year. You know, he had an excellent game here, by the way. Tierney again, big fan of Tierney. I think he's getting better and better, isn't he? Excellent result for Bohemians. They really needed to get a good win here, and they certainly did get a good win here, didn't they?
Massive
it was
win.
Kind of coming as well, I felt. Did you feel that with Bows as well? They were going to get a big win.
But the way they won the game was a big one for me, more than the actual 3 points. Like, they could have played short and got the 3 points, which is all that matters. But they wouldn't have. Nobody would say, "Look, that was a great result," or anything like that, and it'd be a makeshift, like, shut people up type thing for a week maybe. But this has just been totally different. Went out really professional in their game. Their approach, everything was spot on, which you'd expect from a Bows side. They easily beat Finn Harps on the night. They were at it from start to finish. Tierney is an exceptional talent. He really is. I absolutely love this type of player. He's so exciting. He doesn't work because he doesn't have to in the way the team is and the way Buckley sits and stuff like that. You know, it works really, really well. And that, I'm talking about balance in the middle in this league. And, you know, Bows have a perfect, and Bows always have a perfect. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing Bastian Hurley maybe coming back into that side.
If you can get in now.
Bohemians is out. Really do think Bastian will play when he's fit. Not because like not because the players aren't playing, but because of, let's say, the wages and stuff like that. No, I mean that, like, you have to, like, you can't be having the player of Bastion Hurley's caliber and wages sitting on the bench. I think that's going to need to be addressed because, like, we've seen that a long time. We've seen that with a couple of teams now, and they're saying, why is he playing here? Why is he playing there? You know, it's maybe to justify the wage. So, you know, this is going to be a big one for him now, whether he comes in and plays. Now, like, that's where managers start becoming under pressure now. You know, like, if I'm a manager, I personally couldn't give a shit how much money someone was on.
But maybe they're getting pressure from elsewhere.
But yeah, no, I'm not saying that's the case now.
No, but not in this case, but it can happen, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, you're looking at Bastion Hurley and looking at the wages that he's had coming in on and stuff like that. People say, why isn't he playing? You know, and don't mean fans and club, whoever it may be, like, might be saying, look, you brought this fella in on X amount of money, he has to play. So, you know, that's another side of it, but he's a great talent. So whenever he isn't going to be in the side, it's going to be amazing to watch. Like, you sit there and look at him all day, you really would. He's that good. And, you know, I just think Bows now, they're very inconsistent starting off. They're winning a game, winning 2 games, and then losing and not winning and drawing. It's very stop-start. So they'll need to get a win next week now. And, you know, that'll really make a big statement then. And then they have another home game coming that they can put another 3 points on the board. I think if Bows are to challenge as high as people think, they need to get 9 or 10 points out of the next 12.
Yeah, no, definitely do. They need to get going. Finn Harps, what you make of them? Just a bad day at the office, you think?
No, just thought Bows were great. Finn Harps actually weren't that bad, you know, and Finn Harps are never bad.
They had chances, actually, didn't they, to be fair to them?
They had some good chances. Yeah. They had some really good chances, actually, thinking back now, like, on the game. And, you know, if one of them goes in, it could be a different story. But Bows would be delighted with the clean sheet. There's been a lot of questions asked about Talbot and the defence. So, I think they just need to get 10 points now out of the next 12. You know, get a draw in 3 wins or a loss in 3 wins even. But I think them 3 wins are important just to get themselves back up there and, you know, back into that. They're not going to win it. They're not going to be in the race for it at all. I don't think anyone is going to be, really. But, you know, it's the battle for Europe here. And, you know, Bows will definitely want to be in that battle.
Speaking of the race, Keane, and finished in Pats Athletic 1, Shamrock Rovers 2 in Inchicore. I'm going to put my Pats hat on for a minute here. I often try not to, but I have to say I was absolutely gutted with the way they lost this match. I mean, good start for us for 4 minutes. I think 20 minutes second half, last 20 minutes, Rovers took over. I thought they battered Pats in that time. They could have scored a goal or two. They did through Burke. A bit disappointed with the goal, though, because I think Burke put his hand in his pocket, took out a cigarette and sparked it up and then had a shot. He had a lot of space, you know. Second half, I thought Pats were excellent. I really did. I thought, obviously, O'Donnell wasn't impressed either with the last 20 minutes. He said, you need to get in the ball. They did get in the ball. They dominated the better side. And unfortunately, just a mistake at the end. And Shamrock Rovers nick it. It's not as if Rovers had them penned in for the last 10 minutes. Rovers, look, it's a great win for them. They're unbeaten. They're 5 points clear. They didn't play absolutely brilliant in the game, and it's another 3 points.
Yeah, it's sickening to lose a goal like that, the last kick of the game. And look, we've seen the joys of Burmo scored on Monday to...
That's football, yeah.
You know, you're outside of it now. But like I says, these will all even out over the course of the season in terms of last-minute goals and points and stuff like that.
They mightn't for Shamrock Rovers, King, considering they've got 7 or 8 goals in the last minute already.
You know, it's brilliant for them, but
it's mental.
You know, Pat's couldn't have asked for a better start. You know, you're 1-0 up after 5 minutes against the champions, and you were comfortable up until the 20th minute, 22nd minute or something like that, and then Rovers start getting more attack and flowing into the game. They start bringing players into play. I thought Watts was excellent on the ball. I thought, you know, Gary O'Neill done the sitting job well and let them play. I thought Graham Burke was alive throughout the whole game. You know, I was looking at the side. I was looking at the team sheet before the game, and You know, the 4 centre halves are playing a back five. You know, you had like John Horde. You know,
Scales even, yeah.
Scales playing left wing back and all, and you know they didn't look out of place. They were excellent. They have a lot of injury issues as well at Rovers. Like Arden Green is on his crutches and stuff like that. A big leg brace. You know, you're looking at Sean Kavanagh, who's the same. You're looking at Ferrugia, who's out injured as well. So you know they're missing a lot of players and they're still picking up points. I was really impressed with Gaffney in the game. Actually, I just thought it brings people into play. He had a great chance in the first half there and he just fluffed it. Which that should have been a goal. That should have been.
That was their best actual chance in the whole match, to be honest. Yeah.
So, you know, I thought after 20 minutes, Rovers got into gear, passed it around brilliantly, and for the first time this year, I thought you were in free flowing like football, and you were playing really good stuff. And at half time, I was nearly shitting myself. And I would like to get in at 1-1.
Thinking this can't continue in the second half.
Second half, we got out, and Pats absolutely bossed the game. For me, like. This is the biggest thing for me. It's the reaction. Rovers battered us, and it says a lot about Pats. A couple of years ago now, we probably would have lost that 4-1 or something. You know, we went in, we regrouped, we took the game to Rovers from minute one. We were excellent.
You're impressed particularly for Pats. You spoke about Gaffney and Watts, huh?
Matty Smith really impressed me for Pats. He was everywhere. He was chasing everything down right until the 95th minute. And, you know, it's great to see. Look, he didn't get an awful lot of joy. He had a couple of chances. Manus made a great save down to his left, or down to his right, sorry, in the corner. And, you know, Matty had a couple of chances that on another day could have had
composure, I think. A little bit more composure in those opportunities.
You know, you're looking at the way Pats played. And it says an awful lot about, for me as a Pats fan. Look, I watched the game back this morning, and honestly, I was really, really proud of the team. The way we walked our way back into the game from second half.
I think that's what hit a lot of Pats fans. Spoke to a few people as well, and that's what makes it more gutting. I think if Shamrock Rovers, as I said to you there, had dominated the last 20 minutes and scored, okay, it's sickening, but you're saying, well, they did dominate the last 20 minutes. It wasn't like that. I think that's the gutting side of it.
Yeah,
from
look,
Pats' point of view.
It's a mistake at the end that can happen. Mandrew starts running actually are in trouble. He's in, you know, he's so quick. Look, Lee has probably won Pats 30 points single-handedly since he signed for the club. So, you know, this is probably the only time, and I'm not even going to blame Lee as such. Look, it probably could have went Rosette. He got caught out with the ball, fair enough. But Mandrew had an awful lot to do. It's not like Lee gave it to him on the edge of the box and says, "Hey, shoot." You know, Mandrew had to beat him from just after the halfway line, and he had to run in and he had to put it in between.
I think Lee could have taken him down though, maybe at the edge of the box. He was kind of touch tight. Maybe he could have pulled him back or just something.
I'll be honest and I'll say no, because the angle was so tight, and only a certain amount of players actually have that quality to score from there. And Mandrew obviously had to score from there, and he did. But like the angle was so tight, and I'll be honest, I was watching it in real time. I was down the other end of the pitch, but I was looking at it and I was saying, he's running towards the right-hand side of the box here.
You probably weren't sure if it was in or not, were you, from your angle?
Oh, no, I was when I heard everything. But no, I was saying, like, we're okay. We have him. He's running to the right. I'm confident here. Vita's going to have, but he ended up getting that bit of quality and scored, and that's the difference. But I wouldn't have found him if I was Lee either. Lee is already on 3 yellow cards. Lee never gets yellow cards. So, you know, you don't want to be missing games either. So, I wouldn't be, like, I wouldn't be too down about it as a Pats fan. I really wouldn't. What really impressed me and how proud I was, how we took the game to Shamrock Rovers. And the way Shamrock Rovers celebrated after the game said a lot for me.
Yeah. I think all the late goals they scored as well, as I said to you, that was the one where they really, really, really did snatch it, because, as I said, they weren't dominating the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And like that, I watched them in Drogheda, that late goal, but Drogheda were on their feet. You could tell they could nick this Rovers. Wasn't like that at all, wasn't it not? And that's the reason why Rovers were so happy about it, I think, as well, because they literally knew they got away with one. Like,
I think it shows a lot of how far Pats have come. If Rovers are saying Rovers are classing us and they're the challengers, you know, that says an awful lot for Pats. I think that's the biggest compliment anyone can pay Pats at the minute. And I think we're not a million miles off. We're not going to be. I said that to you last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if Pats win this game, I says it's more points on the board for Europe. It's not more points on the board for the title or anything like it. So it's work in progress. So I think if you just keep going now, I think the biggest thing now for me is the next week and seeing how Pats can actually bounce back from this. And this will say a lot about Pats as a team and as a club, as a set of players and the mindset and all. It really says an awful lot about how quickly you bounce back. So
100%. Stephen O'Donnell. No, I agree. Stephen O'Donnell even alluded to that as well straight away after the whistle. So he's already.
Did he? Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't hear stay out of the game now. But what I was saying is, the confidence, the character to come back into the game after being battered, says so much about this team. And I says I'll take that loss. I'll take a loss like that every day of the week, no problem. If you see the amount of work rate and you see the effort and you see everything that goes into it, like Pats were dead in their feet after the game. Yeah, absolutely dead in their feet with half a bench. So you have to put it into perspective. Like last year to where you are now, and you're saying this is some jump, but we're not even halfway there yet. That's the exciting part for this team. And that's the exciting part for Stephen. Like, look, next week says an awful lot. Pats are going to drop there. Massive pressure on him. Really is massive pressure on the game in terms of getting 3 points out of it, making up for last week. So it'll be interesting to see how this team bounces back. But Rovers are it's like they're an autopilot. They're winning games. And look, credit to them. When I was speaking to a couple of the lads after the game, player-wise and stuff, they were obviously delighted to getting the last minute winner, and you can't beat them goals. Like, I know it's against Pats, and I'm gutted, but this is why we watch football. We love these last minute goals. We love scoring and getting. You love the buzz about it. Like you're seeing Pats with
predictability about it.
Yeah, and it's excellent, and that's why we watch the league. But you look at Rovers, and I don't think anybody can say they don't deserve to be up there. So. They're top of the table. They're 5 clear of Pats now.
I think they're going to stay there, to be honest. Like, literally, from now to the end of the season, I think they'll likely stay there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and look, I think we'll credit to them. And what Bradley has done, he's done a tremendous job. So it's a long, long way to go. Like, it's an awful lot of football to be played. Like, Pats, the fun thing, Pats have Rovers twice still. So it can all change so quickly in this league. So Rovers need to be on the game. Rovers need to be, and I think they will. Look, they're well drilled. They know what they're doing at this stage. So I think Rovers will win the league easily still. But, it's all about fighting for Europe. And I think next week I'll say an awful lot about Pats.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't get anything easy at United Park either, I can tell you that, but I'm looking forward to that myself. Guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit your bell notification button, and let us know what you think in the comments. And thanks a million, Keen, as usual. Fair play.
Very good, thanks.